Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Would you come on in here with me and let's open our Bibles up today. We're going to look at Psalm 7, verses 15 and 16. Now, yesterday we compared Psalm 7 with James chapter 1, verse 15. So that verse there in James where he's talking about the conception and birth of sin and then death. So temptation causes sin to be born. Sin then gives birth to death eventually. So today in Psalm 7, we continue, just like James did, this idea of, that the wicked man, he is tempted and drawn away by his own lust. He conceives something. Here in Psalm 7, it's trouble. And then he gives birth to something, which is falsehood. But then falsehood has an effect, because falsehood causes him to do what we're going to read in 15 and in 16. So if you have your Bible there, let's open up to Psalm 7, and we're going to look at verses 15 and 16 today. He made a pit and digged it, and has fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. Did you love that King James word there, pate? That's a good one. That just means the scalp, And it comes down on his head, so it's parallelism. It comes down upon his head, it comes down upon his pate. So we understand, just what the words mean there. So 15, 16, here's the result of falsehood. Falsehood is born. Sin is born. And then what happens? He digs a pit. He made a pit and digged it. So he's the architect of this design. And who's the pit for, by the way? Well, we know, and we kind of have a little unfair advantage here because we have the entire Psalms before us. And if we just read through all the Psalms, then we find the pit mentioned quite a bit. And the pit is that hole that the wicked man digs for the righteous man to trap him. He wants to dig a pit for him. And in most all of the Psalms, when the pit is mentioned that the wicked has dug for the righteous, the prayer is either let him fall into it or he has fallen into it. So here it's he has fallen into it. So he digs it for the righteous man because he can't get to God, so who's the next target? It's the righteous man. So he hauls out a pit and he excavates it, and then it says, and has fallen into the ditch which he made. So the ditch which he made is the thing that he's going to, eventually find himself in. And he doesn't think that's going to happen. I'm sure I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again here. When I was a boy, of course, it's been a long time ago, and we would, in our neighborhood, we would just run the streets on our bikes. And one day, idle hands of the devil's workshop, I didn't have anything to do. My friends were not around. So I got on my bike and I was riding around, and I thought, what, it would be funny if I put a great big rock out here in the middle of the street, and a car would hit that rock, and it would, I don't know what, but, I thought it would be cute if that were to happen. Well, I forgot all about the rock and where I had placed it. It was a great big thing. I forgot all about that rock. So later on, I'm riding my bike and I'm coming down that street lickety-split, man. It's a downhill slope, and I was going as fast as I could go. And guess what I hit? That rock. And guess what happened to my bike? It stopped. And guess what happened to me? I didn't. I went over the bars of the bike, and the asphalt took care of the rest, and we might say. So that kind of thing is what's happening here. They dig a ditch, a pit, for the righteous to fall in, but instead, the Lord keeps the righteous out of the pit, and the one who dug the ditch falls into it. So sin conceives and gives birth to death, and notice, verse 16 is the conclusion of the matter. His mischief shall return upon his own head. I can testify. Happened to me. His violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. So you see, the sin that he imagined for someone else, the violence that he imagined for someone else, now he receives it, and he's receiving it from his own hand. This is why James's commentary on this passage is so important. We understand that it brings forth death, and that's exactly what's happened here. Okay, well, join me again tomorrow, and we're going to look at verse 17 tomorrow here on Daily Dose Radio.